Morning everybody, my name's Mrs Sullivan and welcome to my assembly for the week beginning the 28th of September. Today I'm going to be talking to you all about internet safety. So obviously times are a little bit different at the moment. We've all been at home a lot more than we would have usually been. I know my screen time on my phone, my iPad, my laptop has gone up a lot. And I'm sure you've been spending a lot more time than you usually would have on PlayStations, on tablets, maybe on phones, that sort of thing. So it is even more important than ever that we all know how to stay safe online. So I did mention this in the email to teachers, but if you would like to use a whiteboard at this point and a whiteboard pen, that might be a really good idea. I just want to know, for 30 seconds, you can either write it down or talk to the person next to you, what do you use the internet for? Share your answers with your teachers. The internet, when used responsibly, is a fantastic resource. You can do so much with it. I used it over lockdown a lot to keep in touch with friends and family. It meant that they could all see my daughter growing up when they couldn't actually see her in person. You can chat with friends, you can play games online, you can learn new things in seconds using Google. You can shop without even leaving the house, which is obviously very useful in lockdown. It allowed us to stay in touch with everybody over lockdown, and it allowed us to stay in touch with you guys as well, using Twitter and our YouTube channel and that sort of thing. But as great as the internet is, it is so important that we all know how to use it safely and responsibly. Your teachers in previous years will have taught you some e-safety lessons, how to stay safe online, and that will be coming more in the coming weeks, that you'll have lots of lessons in computing, across the curriculum, in PSHE and all sorts of other subjects as well. E-safety comes into all sorts of subjects, and you'll be taught that over the coming year. So when using the internet, it is really important to understand the SMART rules. Now these are displayed in our school. I wonder if you can spot any of them. As you go around the school, in the lunch hall for example, there is definitely some on display. These are the rules to go by when using the internet. So we've got SMART, we've got S stands for safe, M stands for meet, A stands for accept, and R stands for reliable, and perhaps the most important of all is tell, T for tell. We're going to be going through those in a bit more detail in just a second. But they are the rules to go by when using the internet. Knowing who to tell when something happens that you feel uncomfortable about or upset about is really important. Childline website is fantastic, the CEOP button, you can visit thinkyouKnow.co.uk, you've all seen videos from that in the past. You can tell a trusted adult, a teacher, a parent, and it's really important that you know where to go if and when something goes wrong online. Your teachers will be discussing this further with you. So I know from previous conversations with children at Rolleston that you all are very up to date with how to stay safe online. You're all really good at it, telling me where to go when you need help, telling me what to do and what not to do online. I will be coming around hopefully when I can, when I'm allowed to speak to you some more about e-safety and where we can go from here as a school. But also I just wanted to have a bit of fun with this assembly today, so we're going to do a bit of a quiz. Now this is where you're going to need your whiteboards, Some of the questions will be multiple choice, so you can just write A, B or C. Some of you might need to write a number or a word. So either you can, your teacher can help you decide whether to use whiteboards or to just shout out your answers. Okay? Okay, quiz time. Question number 1 is true or false? Everything you read online is real. True or false? The answer is false. There's a lot of fake news online and you need to be really careful that what you read online, you definitely make sure it's come from a reliable source and you check the facts in it. There's a lot of fake news around, especially at the moment. Being nasty or bullying doesn't count if it's online. True or false? That is, of course, false. This is cyberbullying and is firstly not acceptable and secondly can get you into a lot of trouble. Remember, in the SMART rules, your T for tell. If something's happening that you don't like online, it's really important to follow that specific rule, the T for tell. Tell an adult, tell a teacher, a parent, go visit Childline, click the See Up button, all those things and more. There is a lot of support there if you need it. Anything you put online is there forever. True or false? This is true. This is called your digital footprint, and websites you visit, anything you go on online, websites you visit will take what's called your computer's IP address, which is unique to just your computer. So they'll record your visit by taking a note of that. There'll also be a record of what music you've downloaded, any messages you've sent to friends, any photos or videos you've uploaded online, and more. So that is your digital footprint and it is there forever. Which of the following things is it okay to talk about online? A, your school uniform. B, your full name. C, giving out your password. D, what you had for dinner. And E, your address. So the answer is what you had for dinner. You can talk about what you had for dinner online if you really want to, but it's really, really important that you don't give out your personal information, your address, where you go to school, your full name, your age even. It's just don't give out your personal information online. You know this, everybody knows this, we've been taught it throughout our time at school. Your parents will have spoken to you about it as well. Your teachers will be going into further detail about it in the coming weeks, but please do not give out your personal information online. The age restriction on WhatsApp is 16. True or false? The answer is true. The age restriction on WhatsApp is 16. It did used to be 13, but in 2018 it changed to be 16. So just be mindful of that. Age restrictions on PlayStation games don't count. True or false? The answer is, of course, false. The age restrictions are there for a reason. If a game is 18 rated and you are 11, you should not be playing it. A screen pops up on your tablet screen saying that you've won £1,000. It says it's definitely not a scam, you are the lucky person and you've won £1,000. Should you click it? Yes or no? The answer is no. Don't click anything. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. So do not click anything like that type of pop-up because they often contain viruses that then can harm your computer. I wonder if any of the children in Key Stage 1, Key Stage 2 would be able to create their own e-safety quiz. It could be multiple choice, it could have specific answers. If you do manage to do any of that for a little bit of extra homework, I'd love to see it. Tag me in it on Twitter at Mrs Sullivan RPS. I would really love to see those quizzes. So obviously at the moment things are really different. In the UK they're still really different, in Leicester they're really different, at school they're very different. Usually I wouldn't be sitting here in front of an iPad recording myself talking. I would much prefer to be in assembly hall with you all, but that's just how things are. Now, if in the event we go into another lockdown, or a bubble has to close at school, or some children have to self-isolate, it may be that we have to do something called remote learning. Now that's where you will have your lessons taught to you at home. Now if you have your lessons taught to you at home, we will be using something called Microsoft Teams. Now you're going to be taught how to use that in the near future, but it's really important to know, even when online at home doing your home learning, that you know how to stay safe and responsible when you're doing your lessons from home as well. Obviously we're going to be using our Twitter, we're going to be using our YouTube page, we're going to be using Seesaw, but when we do our lessons on Microsoft Teams, your teachers will be talking to you a little bit more about appropriate behaviour online then as well. Just as well, there's some tasks to do over this week. What I'd like you to do, I'd like you to talk to your teachers about anything that's come up in this assembly that maybe you want to know more about, maybe you're a bit concerned about, anything like that. I would like to have you to have a little bit of a circle time with your teacher, just 5-10 minutes, talking about the content of this assembly. At some point as well, your teachers are going to be given something called an acceptable use policy. Now that is so that we have to sign one as staff to say that we're going to use all the equipment at school responsibly and that sort of thing. So we want to do that for you as well, so that we all know what's expected of us online at Rolleston and when using the equipment that allows you to go online. So in the next few days or maybe next week, your teachers are going to go through something called an acceptable use policy. What would be really good as well is if you could go through it with your parents and just talk to them about online safety, because it's not just at school that you need to be doing this, it's at home. So that's another task that I would like you to do as well. And another couple of tasks, I would like Key Stage 1, if you could read the DigiDuck story to your children and go through the questions about that please, and discuss that story. And Key Stage 2, there will be some scenarios that I'd like you to go through with your class and discuss how you would react in certain situations. If you could also please make sure you've taught at least one e-safety lesson this week, that would be fantastic. Thanks for listening everybody. Teachers, I'm looking forward to seeing all your online assemblies as well. Thank you everybody for listening and have a lovely day. Bye. The answer is flying here. Knowing how to stay safe over the pandemic, which none of us could